next. They're going to Great Britain next. The group here is going to Great Britain next summer. So they're raising money. Okay, we will start with why are there people back here behind the tables right now? So most of you, any of you who have been ringers know that you traditionally have paper music in a notebook that looks sort of like piano music but has some weird markings on it. Well, in the last few years, most of our group have switched from paper music to electronic music using an iPad or a different tablet. And the reason that we make that switch is because the tablets can be operated with a foot pedal, which means you can turn the page with your foot instead of turning the page when you got two bells in your hand and you're trying to ring them and turn the page. So it takes away one of the most frustrating parts of ringing bells.
The only problem is if you switch parts and the part you switch to is a paper book, not an iPad with a foot pedal, and you're stomping on the floor trying to get the page to turn, and you're like 8 measures behind because you finally realize, well, I got to reach out my hand and actually do it. So that becomes a problem.
So who has a question? Anybody have a question? We got the anatomy of the bell. You better go ahead and answer that one.
You want me to answer it?
Sure.
Okay, so the handbells, the handles are plastic, and the bell at the casting is made of, does anybody know? Yeah, bronze, tin, an alloy of tin and copper. Inside the handbell is a clapper mechanism that strikes the handbell at a particular sweet spot, which is determined at the factory when they're made. I've watched it. They're made in Pennsylvania, and I've watched the guy turn the bell around until he finds the spot that sounds the best. Now, I didn't hear any difference whatsoever, but the clapper will hit that spot, and it will ring perfectly in tune. You do not have to tune handbells. They don't go out of tune. If you drop them on the floor, first of all, they kick you out of the bell choir. No, that's not true, but the director makes a very, very nasty face. And they can crack. And if they're cracked, they're pretty much toast. So we don't drop them. And yeah, was that detailed enough? Okay. Any other questions? Come on, guys, we need you. Yeah. What is our biggest bell and how much does it weigh?
I'll get it.
Our biggest bell is a C3, and it weighs, well, that's a two-part question because at the beginning of the concert it weighs 10 pounds, at the end of the concert it weighs 47 pounds. Yeah, you can ask Kari, she's back there. We also have, Robin, you want to talk about the chimes back there?
So our latest addition to our instrument family is the really tall chimes that you see at the very back in the middle. And they actually go one octave lower than that biggest bell that you just heard. So Kari will play the biggest chime. Can you hear that?
Yeah, that's really
Getting
cool.
way down on the piano.
Kind of makes you belly rumble a little bit, yeah. Any other questions? Come on, people. We need you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a beautiful day, and no one wants to come in, and I get that.
I know. They're all enjoying their last cookie or scone.
Yeah.
So.
Do the participants have to read music? At this level, yeah. We all do. When we start, I'm a handbell director, and I have a little beginner group. And I start them with circle their music. So they each play 2 bells, say C and D. I circle the C in blue, and I circle the D in red, because red is right. And that's what we say, right hand, left hand. And so they're basically playing colors, but they do learn note values, quarter notes, half notes, and such. This music, we can't circle it. It would be just this massive color because it's, there's a lot of dots on those pages. So we do read music, but you don't have to.
So Terry, do these ringers come from? Do you have that many ringers in Sarasota?
We do have a lot of ringers in Sarasota. That's where we rehearse. But we have 5 people who come from Tampa and St. Pete. We have 2 that come from Fort Myers to Sarasota. So one group drives 45 minutes to an hour, and the other group comes north and drives an hour and a half every week for a rehearsal. And we just love it. It's worth it. How long do we rehearse?
Well, our official rehearsal is 2 hours every Monday night, but we typically gather about 45 minutes before that 7 o'clock start in what we call sections. So we divide our bells into 3 sections: the bass bells, the treble bells, and then in the middle is what we call the battery bells. And so in small groups of about 5 ringers, we work on spots that are particularly challenging for the pieces that we are going to practice at 7. So we end up being there about 3 hours every Monday night when it's all said and done. So those folks that drive an hour, that's like a 5 to 6 hour commitment for them. But as Terry says, we're all a bit fanatical and crazy about it. So we actually look forward to Monday nights.
Yeah, we do. We do. In fact, when COVID hit, we put our masks on. We separated our tables out. We were 6 feet apart, and we started in the summer of 2020 because we could do it safely. We felt safe. We wiped everything down, and we just needed it for our souls. We needed it. So, question. How long? Like about 9 hours.
I think we've gotten it down to 45 minutes. It's a oiled machine at this point. Again, we have different teams responsible for different pieces of the setup, and then everybody chips in to help wherever they can be helped. So it takes a 15-foot U-Haul truck to carry all this. So we pull up with a 15-foot U-Haul truck and unload and then get it set up. We have somebody recorded us a couple years ago, and we have a fun tape of in very fast motion of how it goes, but looks like a bunch of ants up here.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Questions? What is my favorite bell piece? Personally, well, if we just stick to this season, my favorite would be, oh gosh, it changes I think Theme from the Magnificent Seven is my favorite because I have a really cool part in that. What's your favorite, Robin?
Well, as of recently, it's Over the Rainbow. So, but like you said, it sort of changes from week to week.
Anybody else have a question? We have a little bit more time. We'd love to answer. Yep. Oh, we have a website. You mean the fast motion video?
Is that on our website?
Ringsarasota.org, I believe it is.
Yep.
Ringsarasota.org.
Yep.
And you can also get tickets to the rest of our shows, which are next week in a couple weeks, right around Easter. I don't know.
The 3rd, the 10th, and the 24th will be in the Sarasota area of
said.
April.
So, any more questions? People who just came in, welcome. Thanks for coming. We're just doing a little informal Q&A. If you have any questions about the group or about the instruments or about the show or...
So how many folks here are bell ringers or have rung a bell?
Oh, good. Wow.
Okay, very good.
All right. Bell ringers. We will invite you at the end if we won't forget, but just know that at the end of the show, we'd love for you to come up and talk with us and play the bells, try the big stuff if you haven't had experience with that, bang on those chimes, play those chimes very gently. That's what I meant.
No banging. Only head banging, no bell banging.
There will be a little head banging.
There will be a little head banging later, yes.
Yep. Any more questions? People are coming. Yes.
Say that one more time, please. Oh, the numbers beside the names. So that is their home assignment. So handbells and chimes have a naming convention. They're a note, and then they're an octave. So the number represents the octave of the bells that they typically play. So that largest C note, which is Larry, is a C3. C5, for those of you who are pianists or keyboardists, C5 is middle C. So C4 is 1 octave below middle C, and C3 is 2 octaves below middle C. And then we go all the way up to C8. So that's we were trying to do a play on playbill. So you'll notice we're playbill because playbill is copyrighted, so we couldn't use that word. So that's like the part that they play. And when it says swing, that means they move one or more pieces during the afternoon. They'll go play a different place just to keep things interesting.
Just to keep things interesting, yeah.
Terry is the biggest swinger. She plays at a different place every piece.
I'm not sure I like the way you said that, Robin, but okay. I move around a lot. Yeah, yes. It's fun. It's fun. Any questions from the people who just came in? We're just doing a little informal Q&A here. Anybody? Yeah? Can we what? Ring the C8. I sure can. You sure you want that?
Yeah. Are there any dogs out there? This might hurt their ears.
Actually, we have a C-sharp 8, which is a half step higher than C8. Oh. Here's a C8.
You may notice some of the treble ringers actually wear earplugs because that can really get to your ears after a while. Hopefully it won't bother you out there.
And one of the techniques you'll see, you handbell ringers probably already know this, but Robin was talking about the octaves and the note names and octaves. Most of the treble ringers play doubles. So I've got the B flat here, B flat 6. I also have the B flat 7. It's just the octaves, so I can play them both. And we have, so we don't need 4 extra people at the end of the table to play these little tiny ones. We've just learned to play them together. So we can play them individually, or we can play them, or together. So that's called doubling. Some people call it 4 in hand. It's just playing an octave in one hand.
Any other questions?
Is that it?
Okay, well, we hope you enjoy the show as much as we enjoyed giving you the show. So we'll be back in a moment.
And we'll be back in a moment.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to First United Methodist. If you haven't been at the garden party, that's why I'm dressed so strangely today. But as people are starting to make their way over from the garden party, I just want to thank everyone for coming today. We are hosting the Ring Sarasota group from Sarasota, Florida. If you have not heard a group of this caliber and this quality, you're going to be in for quite a program today. I would say it is a show, not a concert. The music today is something that everybody can relate to, has heard at some point, and we are very excited to have them here. And you came here to hear them and not listen to me talk. So I am going to let them come out and introduce themselves. But first, I would like you to please mute any devices that you may have here in the room, as it can be distracting to the performers. Maybe I should do voiceover for like Universal Studios or something. Line jumpers will be expelled from the park. But not here. Nobody's expelled from the park here, but we are glad that you're here. And let me introduce Ring Sarasota and their director, Rick Holsworth.
Ring Sarasota welcomes you to today's grand production of Stage and Screen. At this time, we ask that you silence all cell phones, pagers, beepers, flip phones, and anything else that makes noise or music and may cause one or more ringers to lose count. That would be bad. Also, please refrain from flash photography because the bass section is easily spooked. Please be advised that this production does not contain rain, monsters, gunshots and or loud sudden noises, mature language or themes, nudity, tin men, scarecrows or flying monkeys, flying carpets, circus animals. It is intended for mature and immature audiences alike. And now sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Please welcome, under the direction of Rick Holsworth, Ring Sarasota.
got dragged to a handbell concert.
This is gonna be a long night. I was promised a stage and screen show with music I could sing and dance to. What was that first song about? I saw the movie The Picture of Dorian Gray. There was no singing in that movie.
Yeah, that first one was a bit hoity-toity. But look at the rest of the program. I see songs I know.
I see movies I know.
This one sounds familiar. I hear it all the time at work.
Six degrees of separation is the concept which posits that any two people on Earth are 6 or fewer acquaintance links apart. Almost all of the productions included in today's show have links between the composers, the actors, and or the storylines. For example, The Magnificent Seven, about oppressed Mexican peasant villagers, say that 7 times fast, assembling 7 gunfighters to help defend their homes, was a remake of the Japanese classic, The Seventh Samurai. In turn, the story was told again in the parody, The Three Amigos! Huh. Now, Elmer Bernstein, who composed the music for The Magnificent Seven and for several other films, including The Ten Commandments and The Great Escape, also wrote the score for, wait for it, The Three Amigos! One other degree of separation about this piece. John Williams, featured later in our program, played the piano in the orchestra for the recording of this film's soundtrack. Now, the music sets the tone for the film. When I hear the theme for The Magnificent Seven, I see that classic Western vista and our brave cowboys cantering on their horses into the village. I see the villagers quietly tending their gardens. And I cheer on our heroes as they enter into a gunfight with the bad guys and ultimately send those desperados chasing out of town. Ladies and gentlemen, The Magnificent Seven.
Did you know that the song Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head was composed for a movie? You knew that. You did know that. What was the movie? Okay, easy one. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. What year was it? 1969. Good. Okay, how many years ago was that? Haha. I did the math. It was 53 years ago. We don't need to think about that. Do you remember the scene? Paul Newman was on a bike with Catherine Ross. The skies were blue, goofing around. It was such a stark contrast from this movie with explosions and gunshots, right? You'll have to watch the movie again to remember the ending. I'm not going to give that away. But the optimism of that song, of that scene, just a little lightness in the middle of all that, it kind of still resonates today, and I think we need it today. The blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. I'm never going to stop the rain by complaining because I'm free.
Salam and good evening to you, worthy friends. Welcome to Agrabah, city of mystery, of enchantment, and the finest merchandise this side of the River Jordan. Does that sound familiar? These are among the first lines of the 1992 Disney classic Aladdin. While the title is Aladdin, the most memorable character from the film is arguably the genie, voiced by Robin Williams. In fact, the genie we know and love was written for Williams even before he signed on to play the part. And Williams did what he did best, improvise. In fact, the film did not qualify for a screenwriting Oscar because so much of Williams' performance was ad-libbed. But the film did receive critical acclaim for its soundtrack, The ballad A Whole New World won an Oscar and a Grammy and topped the Billboard Hot 100 list. Let It Go, the earworm from 2013's Frozen, it peaked at number 5. By the way, several members of Ring Sarasota just flat out refused to include that in the program today, so you're welcome. Well, I can see that you are only interested in the exceptionally rare. I think then you would be most rewarded to consider this. Do not be fooled by its commonplace appearance. Like so many things, it's not what's on the outside, but what's on the inside that counts. A diamond in the rough. Today, we are happy to rub that magic lamp one more time and present our interpretation of the music from Aladdin.
Thank you very much. We're going to have one more piece for you, and then we're going to take about a 5-minute stretch break so you can stand up and stretch, and we can just take a little breath. So before this next piece, I'd like to ask the men in the audience a few questions. The first one is, how many of you have at least one daughter? Raise your hands. Okay, for those of you who have at least one daughter, have you watched that daughter fall in love? And then, have you ever had to watch her struggle when her beloved had to go away? Well, you guys are lucky then. Our next selection, which was arranged by our very own principal conductor, Rick Holdsworth, and is in the process of being published. If any of you like it enough, you can order it and play it yourself. It's a prayer that's sung by a father who could not stand to see his daughter's heart break. It's from Les Miserables, where Jean Valjean pleads for the safe return of Marius, the young rebel, to Cosette. It's called Bring Him Home.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
get the part.
Why was that?
Well, the director ran out screaming when I took off my clothes for the naked scene.
Let's just listen to the ringers play Aquarius. Let the sun shine in.
you guys did a fabulous job. I think we did too. It was really fun, wasn't it? Let's take a minute and thank our fabulous drummer, Scott. Rocking and rolling. He's just an animal. There's a little trivia that I would like to share with you about the composer of our next piece, John Williams. John Williams was the most Oscar-nominated person alive today. He had 52 Academy Award nominations, second only to, anybody want to guess? Walt Disney. Walt Disney had 59. Yeah. So John Williams composes with a pencil and a paper next to his piano. He does not use a computer. He just didn't want to learn, and I think he's pretty good at what he does, so they'll just do it that way. When he was asked by Steven Spielberg to write the score for Schindler's List, John Williams said, "I think you need a better composer." And Steven Spielberg's reply was, "I know, but they're all dead." So we have a couple trivia. I'm going to ask you a question. Shout it out if you know it. What instruments does John Williams play? Good. That's it. I think that's it from what I read on Google. What was his first Oscar win? Fiddler on the Roof. Yeah, how about that? Okay, his favorite Star Wars character is? Yes, it's Yoda. Did you sneak a peek at my notes? Okay, so here's an easy one. Which score to which original movie was selected by the American Film Institute as the greatest film score of all time? Star Wars. You got it. So in addition to Star Wars, John Williams was commissioned to write the theme music for the 1984 Summer Olympic Games, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Fiddler on the Roof, Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., Jaws, Jurassic Park, Superman, Home Alone, Saving.
Let's all click our heels 3 times and journey over the rainbow. Over the Rainbow was written for the 1939 film The Wizard of Oz, and it was sung by Judy Garland in her starring role as Dorothy Gale. We all know that. It became Garland's signature song, but did you know it was almost deleted from the film? MGM chief executive Louis B. Mayer thought it slowed down the picture, was far over the heads of its targeted child audience, and it sure didn't sound like something a young girl would sing in a barnyard. However, the film's director, producer, associate producer, and Judy Garland's voice coach together fought and won to have the song reinserted into the film. Dorothy sings the song after failing to get Auntie Em, Uncle Henry, and the farmhands to listen to her story of an unpleasant incident involving her dog Toto in Miss Gulch. You remember that scene. Auntie Em tells her to find yourself a place where you won't get into any trouble. Dorothy walks off by herself and ponders to Toto, some place where there isn't any trouble? Do you suppose there is such a place, Toto? There must be. It's not a place you can get to by a boat or a train. It's far, far away, behind the moon, beyond the rain.
is so lovely. That makes me teary. Good job. Often, as in that last piece, a piece of music evokes a feeling or a memory of something totally unrelated to the title. Triple Threat, our next piece, was composed by Kathleen Wissinger, and when her teenage son heard it for the first time, he told her, "It sounds like a Harry Potter song." We actually agree. It has like a dark, uncertain feel, perhaps evoking thoughts of he who must not be named.
Well, then how do we know who he is?
Actually, Triple Threat was composed to allow Kathleen's ringers to strengthen their skills. Here's a little music theory lesson. A triplet is a subdivision of a beat into three, or sometimes in the case a triplet is a subdivision of a beat into three, or sometimes in the case of a sextuplet into six beats.
The announcer lady said there'd be no sex. This is a PG program.
No, I mean, it's a
I told you it was going to be a long night.
Wasn't that fun? Gosh. We're going to let the bells cool off for a second while I tell you about our next piece, A Million Dreams, from the 2017 movie musical The Greatest Showman. There are several memorable songs from this film, which loosely tells the story of P.T. Barnum and the birth of show business, but A Million Dreams can be cast as the ballad. The song is about the beauty of believing in your dreams and doing whatever it takes to make those dreams a reality. The film itself was a dream of its lead actor, Hugh Jackman. He worked for 7 years to get the studios to greenlight the project, and the film went on to make more than $165 million at the box office. Jackman is a triple threat. You see what I did there? He can act, sing, and dance. He portrayed Jean Valjean in the film version of Les Mis, released in 2012, and is currently taking a turn as Harold Hill in The Music Man on Broadway. As for P.T. Barnum, we ringers have him to thank for bringing handbells to this country in the 1840s. The infectious music from the film, from the opening number entitled The Greatest Show, to the empowering hit This Is Me, the soundtrack plays more like a list of top 40 hits than a more traditional movie musical. Rumor has it there's talk of bringing the movie version to the stage, and I guarantee if Hugh Jackman reprises his role, that Terry, Sarah, Robin, me, Kathy, Rebecca, we're all going to be there. So.
are CDs for sale in the lobby.
Are there cassettes?
No, CDs.
Are there 8-tracks?
No, Waldorfie, CDs.
Records?
No, CDs. $10 each.
Fine, I hear you. Oh, I know something you don't.
What's that?
We can follow Ring Sarasota on something called the Facebook, or on the interweb at ringsarasota.org.
Don't they have a newsletter or something?
You old grump, look at your playbill. Can't you read, you old fool? It's all in there.
Looks like that redheaded woman wants to talk again. Catch you after the show.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you sticking with us till the end of the show. And we really appreciate all of you coming out this beautiful afternoon to hear us. We hope you've enjoyed hearing some familiar tunes in a new way. We certainly do enjoy sharing our love of handbells with you. And we want to thank this church for hosting us today. They have been the most wonderful hosts. Thank you. So before we wrap up our show, I do want to let you know that after we're finished, you are all welcome and encouraged to come up and try a bell or a chime. Stand back there at the back with the bass chimes and feel them as well as hear them. We'd love to have you come visit with us. To wrap up our show this afternoon, we have a twist on our theme. Most of the tunes you've heard this afternoon were created for a movie or for a TV show, but things happened in the opposite order for this next selection, which is considered one of the most complex and intricate classic rock songs ever written. It was first recorded in 1975 on an album. 43 years later, it became the basis of a movie about its composer, Freddie Mercury. We hope you enjoy our version of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We do have one more piece in the books. We really like to send you out with a song in your heart. So this is another sing-along. Enjoy. And thank you.
I want to take a moment for First United Methodist Church to thank this amazing group for coming and playing here today. I think after the past 2 years, we were all just ready to get out and have a good time. And I think, thank you all for coming and having a wonderful afternoon today. As Ring Sarasota said, you are free to come up, check out the bells, and just put your hands on them, because sometimes people look at them from afar and never get to see them up close. Just one thing of housekeeping. At the end, after we get Ring Sarasota out, we just need to set up for our worship service tomorrow. It should be very simple and take like 5 minutes to do it. But once again, thank you all for coming, and thank you, Rick Holdsworth, and this amazing group for bringing all of this equipment to come and enjoy this beautiful sanctuary on a beautiful sunny day in Gainesville. Thank you all very much.